Hello, my strong friends. In today's video, we are gonna look at one of the most important parts of your squat game, and that is your warm-up. I know it's not the most sexy thing to talk about, but I get questions all the time on how to best prepare for your squats, deadlifts, and bench. So today we're covering the perfect warm-up or how you can create your own warm-up so that you're ready for some heavy squats. This video will be great for you if you're into lifting heavy or if you've been feeling unconfident about your warm-up or if you're looking to improve on some weaknesses that you might have in the squat. If you guys are new here, then hello, my name is Meg Squats, and I'm a certified fitness trainer. I'm a power lifter, and I make videos on how to get strong here on YouTube every single Friday. If you guys enjoy or find any part of this video helpful, please do give the video a like so that I know. And if you love this video, then please subscribe to my channel. You guys are never gonna believe this, but this video is in partnership with Lululemon, baby. I have my ladies ask me all the time what kind of leggings I prefer most, and my answer is always the same: Lululemon. This video, we will be talking about the line of self-care products that Lululemon has designed, and it will help you get from sweaty to ready, or help you cool down after you warm up, because we're warming up in this video, but this helps you cool down. Lululemon's helping you go from sweaty to ready so that you can go from your workout to the rest of your day. Some of the products that they have in the new self-care line are genius. They're designed to actually cool you down post-workout. The anti-stink deodorant is an aluminum-free deodorant, which is also a cooling spray, so then you can cool down your pits.
You need this. I don't care about the cooling. You need the anti-stink part. You're usually very pro-stink, especially after you warm up.
I've switched to aluminum free in the past year, and I feel so much better knowing that I'm putting a more natural product on my skin and just getting rid of aluminum. For me, it is hard to go straight from the gym from my workout and find time to shower right after. Usually I'm running from one thing to the other, and the self-care line with the no-show dry shampoo, the sweat reset face moisturizer, and the anti-stink deodorant make my transition from the rest of my day on to the next thing no problem.
The rest of your week until you shower again.
So thanks again to Lululemon for partnering with me on this video. If you guys want links to what I'm wearing in this video or any of the self-care products, then check out the links in my description. They'll all be listed down below so that you can get your hands on some of the goodies that I mentioned. And if you're a guy watching this, don't worry, Lululemon has enough stuff for you too. Okay, on to the rest of the video. The goal of the warm-up is to prepare the athlete both mentally and physically for the workout or the competition ahead. A well-designed warm-up can increase your muscle temperature, core temperature, and your blood flow, which of course can lead to positive effects like faster muscle contraction and relaxation. You guys might be wondering, why do you need to warm up? You should just be able to go into the gym and do the exercises that you need to do, and I'm here to let you know that you're wrong. The reason we warm up is because if you're watching this channel, you're probably interested in getting pretty strong, right? So with strength being the basis and the motivation for our training, we want to make sure that our minds and our bodies are prepared to lift heavy, which does take some time, and it takes just a mental shift to finally get there. Also, the warm-up is an opportunity to work on some cues that we've been working on, improve our technique, and also try to address some weaknesses that we know we have in the lifts. Because if you're trying to get strong, you of course can do that by building muscle, but you can also do that by becoming a better and more efficient lifter. And of course, you can feel free to go into the gym and just start on the bar if that's what you want to do, but I would argue that it's not optimal and it's not going to turn you into a much better lifter. Now, there are so many factors to consider when we talk about warm-ups. How an Olympian warms up versus a brand new gym goer will differ, but there is a good way to structure your warm-up regardless of who you are. Now, I can't take credit for this method because it wasn't invented by me personally, but if you can remember to ramp, R-A-M-P, as a way to organize your warm-up, then you will be on the right path. So think about ramping up your warm-up, and it's an acronym that stands for R, raise, you're raising your heart rate, you're getting your shit together. A, activate, you're getting all of your muscles firing and primed and ready to lift. M, mobilize, you want to make sure that your joints are ready to lift. And P, potentiate. This is where we incorporate a bit of barbell work and we start to potentiate, which means you're slowly adding more weight onto the bar. The potentiation section is probably where most people start. You do a certain amount of reps of an empty barbell, and then you work yourself up to your working set of the day. Now you know the acronym, and I know you're not gonna forget RAMP, because it's super easy to remember.
And it's spelled right there on the screen.
It's right here for you. So let's dive into each section a little bit more so I can give you some examples. For this squat warm-up, the only equipment that you'll need are some bands, a barbell, and some plates. Okay, the raise portion is all about elevating your heart rate, increasing your blood flow, and just getting your body moving after a long day at the office or first thing in the morning. Both of those times are when I feel like absolute dog crap. So this is really important, especially when you're over the age of 30, before you start squatting, as your body is just a little bit more switched on after raising your blood flow. Some examples that you can do in your warm-up for the raise portion are a 5 to 10 minute jog or row. You could also do a quick circuit to get your heart rate up. Think about things like air squats, Cossack squats, push-ups, walking lunges. Those would be great to get the right areas firing. You don't want to do anything too crazy and wear yourself out before squats, but just some easy movements, they can get moving. I also like to do a quick yoga flow, and this is just personal to me, and you can skip it, but it just helps me to move and get my joints moving because typically I'm at my desk all day. So this is just a quick flow to get my temperature up, and it's a great lead into our next section. All right, so let's A and M, activate and mobilize. I like to put the A and M together when explaining the structure because I actually switch them around. Not helpful for the acronym, but I would mobilize before you activate. This mobilizing time is a good way to get your body primed for deep squats. So if you have any range of motion issues, this will especially come in handy. We just wanna make sure that your joints are ready to bear some weight and load a barbell on your back. So here are some examples. My yoga instructor calls this the goddess squat. So to me, this is just like hanging out. So sit in a deep squat with your elbows pushing against your knees. And from that position, you can raise your hips, grab your toes, and stand into a hamstring stretch or a forward fold. Float between those a handful of times to start stretching out those hips and hamstrings. Cossack squats are also a great option just to move from side to side, focusing on some unilateral dynamic movement. You could even think about throwing in some leg swings and try them forwards and backwards, or whatever other dynamic movements and stretches that will help increase your range of motion if you need to. Now, there's many people who are mobile and they don't need to like stretch or work to hit squat depth. I will admit I'm one of those people, but I still go through this section because I can notice a change in my range of motion or comfort with my movement pattern when I start to neglect dynamic stretching. Pay close attention to mobility issues if you have them, and try to find exercises that can help increase your active mobility. Those may or may not be the things you work into your warm-up, and finding those exercises will not be covered in this video because that's a whole other video itself. Okay, A, ramp. Just think of A and M together. So we're ready to activate now. This is a great step for correctional movement. If you have any pre-existing injuries or asymmetries that mean you're more dominant on one side, then this section is an opportunity to address your imbalances and ensure that you're fully recruiting the muscle fibers on your weak side and that they're recruiting evenly. As you go through your warm-up, you get more specific to the training that you're doing that day. So for squat sessions, I focus on the muscles I'm going to be using during the squat. So what I like to do, because I have that knee valgus issue, I like to focus on my glute med and make sure I'm activating that muscle group so that I am improving my weaknesses and addressing technical cues that I'm working on. So what I like to do is grab a band and do a couple of exercises with it. The first is a banded shuffle. Here I'm focusing on using my glutes to move laterally. I have a slight bend at the knee, and I make sure not to externally rotate my hips or my feet. My feet are parallel, and I'm feeling my glute med with every step. You could also try the monster walk. This is another banded walk option. It's similar to the shuffle, and we add the band in the same place, but we're taking forward and backward steps to turn our glutes on and avoid losing glute activation in our squats. Another option with the same piece of equipment are banded squats. So you're thinking about actively pushing your knees against the band as you move through the squat warm-up. Another common weak point in the squat is losing trunk and core activation. You'll see some lifters fail the lift because they kind of collapse in the squat and they're just sort of getting crushed under the bar. Some core warm-ups that you might want to consider are bear crawls, a stir the pot with a bozu ball, or even a basic plank variation. Make sure in all these variations that you're waking up your core and feeling the burn and like your abs are actually like waking up and activated. Okay, P stands for potentiate. Right, potentiate. Now we're coming to the end of our ramp journey, the potentiation phase. So this is the most specific part of the warm-up and sounds really fancy because potentiate is a 5-syllable word. Potentiation essentially involves switching on.
Wait, how many syllables did you say it was?
Potentiate. Potentiation essentially involves switching on your neuromuscular system so that you can lift heavy or move more quickly. And it's achieved with progressively increasing your load or your speed until you feel ready to begin your working sets. So for squatting, this is where we start with the barbell. Depending on what your workout looks for that day, you may want to squat with the barbell for a few times. If you're newer to squatting and the barbell is too heavy for your warm-up, then grab a lighter kettlebell and do some goblet squats to prime your muscles. For each warm-up set, you'll slowly add more weight to the bar. If you've been lifting for a while, you may already go in and hit the same weights every session. Maybe you start with the bar, and then you add 25s for 95 pounds, and then you change to 45s for 135 pounds, and then you add the 25s for 185, and so on.
Meg only knows how to add in increments of 25s and 45s, just quarters and turns.
So that kind of loading scheme is done mostly for convenience because we usually have the 45-pound and 25-pound plates handy. If you're not yet warming up with that heavy of weights yet, or you simply want a more personal and refined approach, you might want to figure out percentage jumps ahead of time so that you're spacing your warm-up sets to optimize what you're lifting in that training session. So first you want to figure out the target weight that you're going to hit and then ask, what warm-up jumps do I need to make for me to be able to reach this weight eventually? So here's a rough percentage breakdown of what I've used in a recent warm-up. I'm also going to add a few different example scenarios and varying target weights so you can screenshot and try them out during your potentiation phase during your own warm-up. The warm-up and potentiation phase is still an opportunity to get some volume in. So don't think of these sets as a waste of time. You're giving yourself more opportunities to become a better squatter, where you're working on form, you're focusing on your cues, and you're easing into a good training session. You also may want to consider recording a few of your warm-ups. You can take a look at your technique and your bar speed especially, so that you're feeling more confident and you can take note of your performance. We wanted to leave you guys with a few examples of what different squat warm-ups would look like following this method. Here are 3 different warm-ups that will address different kinds of weaknesses or technical cues in the squat. Screenshot this card so that you can use it in your next gym session. You can continue to use the ramp method for other lifts or other technical weaknesses just by changing the activation and mobilization parts of the warm-up. You may want to consider things like foam rolling or additional shoulder and or wrist mobility exercises, maybe even breathing drills or something like a meditation app before training or performance. Now, I realize a meditation app might sound a little hardcore or like maybe the opposite of hardcore, but my point is that different lifters approach their warm-up and their training sessions in different ways. This video isn't meant to serve as an end-all be-all to inform your warm-up exactly, because we'll all require different warm-up designs. We covered the warm-up thoroughly in this video, but the duration of your warm-up before the barbell should be between 10 to 15 minutes. Spend about 5 minutes raising your heart rate, and then the rest of the time on your mobility and activation. These exercises aren't hard or intense or crazy warm-up drills, so don't waste a lot of time resting after a set of leg swings or what have you. The potentiation phase will depend on how close you're training relative to your training max, as well as the absolute load you'll be squatting. As you can imagine, it will take someone squatting 500 pounds more time to warm up than it would take someone who's squatting 100 pounds. Your warm-up should be designed around how you can feel and perform your best in the gym. So make sure you're addressing weaknesses, fixing technique, and setting yourself up to get stronger. That's all for this video, you guys. I hope it wasn't crazy long. Thank you so much for watching this one. And again, if you guys are new here, then please do subscribe.
Scrub side.
please do remap and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every single Friday. So if you're interested in getting strong or getting stronger, then subscribe because you'll get a helpful tip every single week. If you guys want a new warm-up programmed for you every single week, then join my program, Stronger by the Day. It's only $8 a month, and you can get access to our programming, which includes a weekly warm-up and a strength training program that you can run for either 4 days a week or 5 days a week, your choice. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can try it for free. So click the link down below and you guys can get started today. Like this video if it was helpful. I think I forgot to say that. Whew, we did it, fam.
Whoa, that's the Lululemon, isn't it?
Yep.
Holy Meg, nice job.
Okay, let's go.